There you go. Oh, they're mummy's keys. She's going to need them in a minute. And you're going to cry. Hands free. Good girl. Right, Mum says a swap. Okay. Ready? Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. This video won't be for everybody because it's literally just going to be all about nursery, but Halle starts nursery full-time next week, so this week they have booked in her induction sessions. She has 3. The first one is half an hour, the second one is an hour, and the third one is 2 hours, split over the course of the week. I believe for today's one, which is just half an hour, I probably stay with her, but I'm not sure about the other 2. So I just thought I would take you along with me and do maybe just a very, very, very chatty video, which I understand again isn't for everybody, but maybe do a couple of minutes before and a couple of minutes after each session, so you know how we're feeling and you know how it goes. Because this last week Halle's got into the stage where when we leave her with people, as in she sees us go, she screams, she cries, it's all mama, mama. And for me, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But when she's distracted, or a couple of minutes later when she catches onto a toy or catches onto something on the TV or someone's entertaining her, she's absolutely fine. And I've said before in videos that she does thrive off of other people and off of other children. So I'm trying to use the rational side of my brain that says she's going to be absolutely fine, and it's probably going to be harder for me than it is for her, but I thought I would do a very realistic week with us of the nursery session. So it probably won't be my longest video, but come along with us. We're just on our way there now. I am feeling quite nervous, but I don't know why, because I'm probably going to be staying with her, but it's just change, it's just new. So yeah, come along with us. This is the first session, and I will check back in afterwards and let you know how the 2 of us got on. We've just got here. We're a couple of minutes early, so I'm just sat in the car. Halle's itching to get out, so she's whinging, so you can probably hear her. Why do I feel like crying already? When I think I'm going in with her today. This is ridiculous. But it's okay. I can see them all. They're just about to go out for a walk, so I'll wait for them to go out for a walk and then I can go in. But this is too much for a mum. This is far too much. Okay. It has been 45 minutes since we finished Halle's first nursery induction, where we both stayed and played for half an hour, and I feel like I've just about pulled myself together. I've spoken to Josh, and in Josh's own way, he's laughed about the entire thing because he just knew I was going to crumble. She was absolutely fine. Of course she was absolutely fine. She was a little bit shy at first, which she doesn't love loud environments. Like, we're very chilled at home. Like, we're very chilled parents and we're very chilled people. Like, we don't have loud music or loud TVs or anything like that. Like, we're very chill. So naturally she's very chill. So she was a little bit shy at first, but come like 10-15 minutes in, she was like playing with the toys, sitting by the other children. She was certainly like watching them and looking at them, being nosy. So she was fine in itself. For the induction that we did today, we just filled in an interactive about me form, which is questions like, who does Halle live with? Does Halle have any pets? Does she have any allergies? That sort of thing. So that took up a lot of the time. And then towards the end, the key worker encouraged me, like, oh, do you want to go and get your shoes and your coat on? I can sit with Halle for a couple of minutes. And Halle was like looking at me, then looking back at the key worker, and then would play for a little minute, and then she'd look at me and then look at the key worker and play. But she wasn't emotional in any way, shape or form. She was absolutely fine. She did actually pull herself up on the key worker's lap to sit with the key worker, and at the end I was trying to entice her to crawl towards me because we had to go home, but she actually put her arms up to the key worker, which Halle doesn't do that to a lot of people. Like majority of the family don't even get that treatment. So I think she obviously felt comfortable with the key worker, and the key worker was very calm herself and had a very soothing voice and was very relaxed. So all in all, it was very positive. Obviously very emotional for me, which is ridiculous, but very positive. And tomorrow I have to leave her for an hour. So she's like, go busy yourself. So I've made some plans tomorrow. And then Thursday, I leave her for 2 hours. So again, I'll make plans for Thursday. But yes, day 1 is done. And it was far harder for me than I expected. Because I sort of went into it with the mentality of, oh, it's got to be done. It'll be fine. Like, it's one of them things. She's got to go to nursery. So it'll be absolutely fine. So it was certainly harder for me. But I felt it was easier for her. Like, she didn't whinge, she didn't cry, she didn't sit glued to my lap. She was absolutely fine. So that makes me feel better about tomorrow, but I will let you know. We are back for the second induction. Every time somebody mentioned the first induction to me, I burst into tears. That lasted pretty much the entire day, which does sound ridiculous because I spent the induction with her. And I just can't explain what came over me, but I just was very emotional about the situation. Anyway, today is induction number 2. And for this session, I leave her for 1 hour. So I've made plans in that hour to hopefully distract myself, and I've got myself semi-ready with the mental outlook of don't get upset because you've got yourself ready. But who knows? I feel okay. I feel a lot better than what I did yesterday. But how I feel when she'll leave, I don't know. She seems very excitable in the back, so I'm hoping that she'll just get distracted by the other children and the other toys, and I can slink off into the background. So yes, wish us luck for induction number 2 of 3. So we've just got here, and I don't know why I feel on the edge already, but we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go in, we're gonna put ourselves together, we're gonna be absolutely fine. I just want to mention, I saw a friend yesterday at the Arboretum after I did the first induction, and she made a really good point, and she said it's not necessarily the induction or the nursery or anything like that, it's the fact that maternity leave is so final. She used to work in a nursery, so I think she's probably used to parents crying on her. But yeah, she said it's the fact that the maternity leave is so final, and I think that's a really good point to make. Like, it's not just about nursery and just about going back to work. It's like this whole chapter has somewhat come to an end, and there's going to be new challenges now, new routines and new ways of navigating motherhood whilst working. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull myself together, and I will see you after. We are back from induction number 2. She went in absolutely fine, and Josh actually messaged me and he was like, oh, surely that makes it worse. And I can understand for some parents why that would make it worse. But for me, I personally found that the fact that she put her arms up to her key worker and the fact that she wanted to go in, I found that easier because she wanted to be there. So I went off to my plans. I welled up a little bit, but the second I had like a cup of tea, I was like, oh, I'm fine. I was distracted, I was busy, it wasn't an issue. So yeah, day 2 went really, really well. As we got there, they were doing all the children's lunch. So they even dished her up some lunch. So she's had some cottage pie and some pineapple with them. And they said she was absolutely fine. She didn't whinge. She didn't cry. She didn't have a wobble. They said she was honestly fine. And she just got her bearings a little bit, but then started to crawl around and play with the other toys, and watch what the other children were doing. So day 2 feels a lot better. But yeah, it's a weird thing, nursery. And there's so many conflicting opinions because, you know, we even had a conversation the other day about like, why isn't Josh coming with me? But Josh made a valid point. 2 of us going and 2 of us leaving would be really abnormal for her because she spends majority of her weeks just with me. And like when she gets dropped off at my mum's, it's just me. And when she gets picked up from my mum's, it's just me because of Josh's hours. So for Josh to take time off, what are we doing? Do we need to play with Stevie's water? I don't think we do. Right, you've drenched yourself now. So for Josh to take time off to drop her off, it would probably confuse her even more. So we decided that it would just be me, which I was absolutely fine with. We need to go upstairs and get changed now. Oh. So yeah, there's conflicting opinions with everything. Other people would say no, they would like their partner there. But he was right at the end of the phone. So it really wasn't an issue for me on that regard. I was going to find it emotional and difficult whether Josh was there or whether he wasn't there. Look at her. This is the latest thing going in the dog's bowl. But yeah, so I just wanted to update you. Day 2 was much more positive. And I'm hoping that day 3 will also be as positive. Okay, so today is session 3. I'll be dropping Halle off and she will stay with them for 2 hours. It also coincides with a time that should be due another feed and her lunchtime. She had lunch with them when she went for session 2 and they said that was absolutely fine. But I just don't know how it's going to go with her having her bottle there as well. She does take it absolutely fine with other people, as in our friends and our family. But when it's a complete stranger and when there's so many other distractions, I don't know how she's going to take that. But that's fine. That's by the by. It's all part of the process, I suppose. And we haven't had the best morning. Halle's a really, really good napper, and she usually goes down for nearly about an hour and 40, I would say, of a morning. And today she had 45 minutes and then has been like fighting it, crying, tossing and turning, like clearly tired. but not giving in to it. So about 45 minutes of unbroken sleep, and then sort of a 5-minute cat nap, 10-minute cry, 5-minute cat nap, 10-minute cry. So she's perhaps not as refreshed as what I would have liked to have been, just because I want it to be a positive experience, not because I think she needs to have a certain amount of sleep at a certain time on a certain day, but I just want her to have a positive experience here. I don't want her to be overtired and emotional and not have her mum or her dad around. But you know, these things happen, and these people are trained to deal with this sort of thing. So, you know, that is what it is. I feel emotional about this one today. I feel like it's the final induction and then it has to happen. And I've pulled myself together because I've got plans during this time, but I feel like that's it now. She's going to nursery and that's it, and I've done my induction sessions, and you know, there's no more longing out the process here, unless we win the lottery, which when you don't do the lottery, you're not going to win the lottery. So yeah, I feel a bit emotional about it, but in a good way. Like, it's such a good thing for her and her development and social skills. It's going to be really, really positive. But it's just like I was saying in the previous clip, it's the end of a chapter before another chapter starts. So yeah, I feel emotional already, but we're hoping to hold it together. So yes, I shall let you know after drop off and after pick up how we got on. We are now home. I wanted to wait until Halle was down for her nap to record this last bit, because I think it's going to be a bit waffly, so I apologise in advance. Ultimately, she had another really, really positive session. I opened the car door and she was kicking her legs and getting all excited, so that was really positive. I took her in and she went straight down to play within seconds. I dropped her stuff off, just said there's a bottle in her bag for her, and then I left. I went to pick her up and they said that she'd had chicken risotto for lunch, followed by a yogurt for pudding, and then she got a little bit whingy, so they gave her her bottle, which Halle's session started at 11:30, and usually she would have had a bottle at that time. So the fact that they've been able to give her some chicken risotto, yogurt, play for a little bit, and then have it, that's new to her. But she coped really, really well. They said she's good as gold. They don't even notice that she's there. She's just quite happy and chilled and played, no problems at all. So that was really positive. She got all excited when I walked in, and I think a little bit confused because she started to cry a little bit. But as soon as I picked her up, she was fine. So I think for me, the nursery induction process has been really positive. She's enjoyed all 3 sessions. She's been okay on pick up and drop off, and obviously that's not gonna be every pick up and drop off, but it gives me peace of mind knowing that she's been okay so far, and it gives me peace of mind to drop her off when she's goes full time without having that anxiety of, oh God, what if? And the time will come and she'll kick off and she'll be upset, or she won't want to go, or she'll be more aware of her surroundings and things will change. But ultimately, I felt that was positive. I felt the week of inductions has been really positive. I think it's important to say that it doesn't matter how you feel as a parent. For me, I took it really positively that she just went in and she just went to other people. But I can also understand why parents wouldn't like that. For me, it was positive that she had a good time, but for other parents, that might give them the anxiety of, oh God, when she kicks off or he kicks off, it's going to be massive. So it doesn't matter how you feel. Everyone's experience is completely different. And I was talking to a friend just yesterday. Her little boy is 2 and has always got on really well at nursery. But now he is even more aware of strangers or different people or people that aren't his friends and his family and his parents. So they're navigating that at the minute. So it will come. My time will come. But I found this experience very good. I found it emotional because I think I didn't know what to expect. I'm a very process-driven, planned, organised person, and that's not to say like I expect to know how to feel each day, but some people will know when this happens, I'll feel this. And I don't, and I think I've always been quite practical. So for example, her vaccinations, so many people said to me, did you cry? And I said no, because I knew she had to have them. So the practical part of my brain was like, well, it doesn't matter if I get upset or not, she still has to have them. And initially, that's how I looked at nursery. I was like, she has to go to this nursery because this is the nursery we've paid for, this is the nursery we've chosen, this is the nursery that works well for us and we believe is suitable for her, and I'm going back to work, so she has to go to nursery. That's how I thought I had processed it. But obviously not, because the emotions came and I really didn't expect it. Yeah, I feel good. I feel really good about next week when she goes full time. I feel really good about the nursery we've chosen. The staff members that I've met so far have given me a really good impression. So yeah, it was daunting and it was emotional, but I think looking back, it was probably more daunting and emotional in my head than what it was to actually go through with it. So if you are a parent that is maybe choosing your options about if you return to work, when you return to work, how often you return to work, or if you are a parent who has circumstances have changed and they need new childcare, they need to change the childcare, they need to start childcare for the first time. It's easier said than done now, but it's way bigger in your head. In real life, it's easier to manage. Just take each step one at a time and process each step one at a time. That first session, I was an emotional wreck. And I'm not joking when I said I cried for about 5 hours afterwards. And every time somebody mentioned it that day, I cried. And that's fine. And then day 2, I was okay with. I'd processed it. It wasn't an issue. It was all sorted. But then day 3, it hit me again. And it doesn't matter how you do it, but just, you'll look back. I'd like to think you'll look back and you'll say, that was easier than I thought it was. And I know a couple of friends that also work in childcare, and whether they're saying it to make me feel better or not, I'd like to believe they're telling the truth. Every parent cries. They were like, you would not believe how often we get it. It's completely normal. So you're not the only parent, and no doubt it'll happen with your first, second, third and fourth child. And also, my friend mentioned to me, which I think's worth adding on, she works in a nursery. You can request more settling in sessions. If you're not comfortable with the number that you've been given or the time that you've been given, you can ask for more, or ask for them to be more spread out, or ask for them to be more close together. You can ask. Like, the settling in sessions aren't just for the child, they're for you to feel comfortable where you're leaving your child and with who you're leaving your child with. So I thought that was really important to mention because I didn't know that. I thought it was set in stone. This is our plan. This is our process. This is what we do. But she said, no, more often than not, nurseries will be really accommodating to parents because they understand it's such a big, anxious thing. So yeah, I hope you can take away a couple of nuggets of information from this. But I've definitely taken away from this week that the nursery as it stands and the staff are the right choice for us. And they've left a really good feeling with me that they're going to be capable of looking after her. So yeah, that was just my honest review. If you have any questions about the experience, obviously please do let me know. Send me a message or leave a comment. I'd really love to help if I can help. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It won't be as long as the others, but I hope it's equally as informative. Next week, Halle goes in full time and I'm going to be filling my time. So I'm going to film a little Q&A. So if you have any questions, whether they're about me or nursery or Halle, maternity leave, returning to work or anything else, again, put them in the comments or send me a message because I'd like to fill my time keeping busy, but also I'd like to help if I can help. So thank you very much, guys. And please, as always, like and share.